all the blood in the water?
Yeah, I mean, that was just part of the game plan. We knew he was going to get tired, obviously. I mean, his lifestyle's kind of all over the place. So that's just one of the side effects to having a lifestyle like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just another wrestling match, honestly.
Carter, Pat said after the match that if he had been fresh, he would have tech-falled you, no doubt about it. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I mean, if I was 6'4" and I was 280 pounds and I went to bed early and I didn't talk to any girls, I'd be in the NFL. You know what I mean? So there's all types of what ifs and all this other stuff. So at the end of the day, you got to show up and show out, and he didn't do that. So yeah, it's just, I mean, I like it though. You know what I mean? Because it's all part of the entertainment. I think as a sport, like it's for wrestling, they do like a terrible job as like with growing the sport and all that extra stuff. So I think there's ways to go about it. I think he's over the top with it. But, I mean, again, I think that's better than nothing because I didn't even know there was a press conference going on. It's just like, if I didn't love and care about my teammates, like, I wouldn't be here watching wrestling. Like, it's 10 in the morning. Like, I don't want to get up and watch wrestling. So I just think there's a lot better way to do things. But I'm not the guy in charge, so I'm just a guy that wrestles.
You mentioned that the guys that are in charge, you don't feel have done a great job in growing the sport. What do you feel could be done better in that sense?
That's not my place to say. I mean, I'm the athlete, so
right.
Like whatever the rules are, I got to adjust and make happen. So you don't get anywhere by complaining. So you just got to figure it out and do the best. So, but I just think there's other ways, just from as an athlete, that there's just better ways. I think you want to make sure that the athletes are at their best, you know. And I just feel like they're just compromising, having it so early with like late weight cuts. It's just like you want the athletes at their best so they can put on a show and perform. So like, and you don't want to make it hard and just like not giving the guys any weight. I don't know. It's just a whole lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, that's not the case. So you have to do your best and make it happen.
Battling through the injuries, how you did, the torn, I believe, is MCL or whatever the injury ended up being for you. You win another fourth NCAA title. You got another year left, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're going into face punching. I don't know. I can't speak for you. But are you going into face punching? Are you coming back for the final year? What are you doing here moving forward? And if you go into the face punching, that becomes part of the game, right? How Pat was trying to sell your match,
yeah.
Right? Is it face punching next year, or is it Nittany Lions?
Right now, it's just my focus on getting these guys ready to achieve their dreams and goals with the Olympic trials and then the Olympics. So my heart's going to be with those guys, and anything they need, I'll be there helping them out. If it's a weight cut, if it's anything, go to the grocery store. So I want to make sure I'm getting these guys ready and things like that. And in the meantime, as I'm doing that, I'll probably have another meeting with Coach Kale, and we'll talk some things out. So, like I said in my last interview, I was 60-40 not coming back, but now I've been thinking about a little more. I'm 60-40 coming back. So we'll see. I just know I don't like cutting weight. I mean, it felt really good out there not having to cut weight and just be me. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I haven't thought too much into it because like I was getting ready for this, and now this is still going on, and I have a bunch of my boys getting ready to go scrap. So when that's all done and all the clouds are kind of gone, then I'll kind of sit back and think more on that.
David Taylor called you a tweener for this, right? 74 to 86. You'd be like an 80 kilo, 79 kilo type guy. You're a tweener here for men's freestyle wrestling. Will you explore the men's freestyle when they add the 79 kilos back to it and it's not the Olympic weights? Are you coming back for that? Can you definitively tell me if it's wrestling or fighting? Can you say that?
I mean, I think if the weight class was 79, I mean, yeah, like that's ideal. But again, no, that's just like another excuse that really doesn't matter. Like nobody cares if I'm a tweener. Nobody cares about the injuries. Like you either go make it happen or you don't. So that's just a few adjustments I got to make. So if I'm going to go down, I need to shrink my body. If I'm going to go up, I got to get a little bigger. So those are adjustments that I need to make for my career. And just so, and then yeah, I mean, in terms of if I'm wrestling again, I mean, or not, I mean, I'm focused on getting these guys ready. So I honestly haven't really thought about that. I mean, I don't even think my mom and dad know what I'm doing next. So, so yeah, just take some time and pray and kind of let God guide those decisions.
Two guys that are still in high school, Connor and Luke, are going to be at Penn State next year. What have you seen from them? How much were you able to watch them of during these trials, and what are your impressions about what Penn State fans are going to be seeing pretty soon?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are obviously like really high level guys. I mean, making the Olympic trials at a young age like that, and obviously competing the way they do. I mean, it's pretty cool to see that it's a sport that's trending in the right direction, and those guys are killers. You can see a look in their eye, and so that's really exciting for us because you have it's good training partners always train and get better. So that's really exciting. So I mean, I just think, yeah, I mean, it's a really cool thing. So I just think as I keep moving along my career, to always keep an eye on those young guys because you just never know.
Carter, is the injury something like, do you have to get surgery, or is that on the table, or?
That's between me and my family and the coaches.
Hey, Carter, is there a decision to be made on that?
That's between me and my family and my coaches. Yeah.
Is that going to impact the 5th-year decision?
It's a good question. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I just don't want to speak on it just because I just don't think it's a matter of necessary. You know, like you can, I was hurt, this and this, and I mean, everyone saw the brace, so it's just like obviously things are the way it is, but it's either make it happen or you don't. You know, so I'm not the guys all like, here's the injury, here's what happened. Like it doesn't matter. So. Yeah, I just got to do a better job and make sure I'm healthy.
So is the 60% coming back, or is the 40%?
60% coming back, yeah.
Coming back in
yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah.
And when do you think you will decide? How long?
Probably soon. I mean, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Just so, I mean, we have so many killers in the room, you know what I mean? Obviously, you guys saw like Facundo and Haynes go at it, and I mean, and those guys are really good guys, and I know Haynes he doesn't want to make 57 anymore. I know Facundo's having a hard time making 165. So yeah, it would be good on my part to make the decision somewhat soon, just so our team kind of formulate. But I think, however the team formulates, I mean, I don't think anyone's coming close to Penn State for a long time. You know, it's not even so much us as athletes that are like putting the work in. It's like a lot of it just comes from our coaches, and just to see like how committed they are. You know what I mean? Like Coach Casey was in there with Aaron last night, couldn't wait till however late it was. I mean, he has a family and kids, but like, you know what I mean? He's right there in the trenches with us. So it's just things like that where I just know other coaches aren't doing that stuff. You know what I mean? They're probably putting their hair grease in and getting all freshed up for the corner. Our coaches are really trying to make it as easy as possible for us, and they're really dialed in.
You guys, they do a really good job with you guys in the media and kind of keeping you away from the media and really sheltering you because we're relentless.
Yeah.
And we always want to talk to
Yeah.
you. We don't leave you alone.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, now people have social media. Everybody has a line to you now.
Yeah.
They can tweet at you or mention you or whatever. How do they do such a great job in the smartphone era, in the technology era, of keeping you guys sheltered from the media? How they do?
Yeah, I think at first that was something that our coaches really weren't in favor of. I'm actually the guy that kind of sat Coach Kell down in a meeting and was like, hey, like, you know, I don't think it's so bad as you think. I mean, I think, again, it's the media's job is to do the media's job. You guys need stories, need the clicks or whatever. But, you know, I just think it's just like it's going to help. I don't know. I just think it's just good to it's being under that spotlight, because I feel like if you're going to be doing great things in life, it's always going to be media around. So, like, you can't shelter from that all along. And so, I mean, it's something, too, that, like, again, like, I know you guys said, like, it's a match between me and Pat Downey was hyped up. But at the end of the day, all that stuff's all talk and really doesn't mean nothing. It matters what you do in that circle, and that's kind of what our coaches want us to focus on. And that's what we do focus on, too. I mean, I know I'm the guy in the team that's kind of more outlandish in those things and doing whatever. But I mean, again, I think all of our guys are pretty much focused, and they really couldn't care less about social media, like Instagram, like the media. Like, they just want to wrestle. Like that's all those dudes care about. They don't care about nothing else, and I love it.
Burroughs and the knee talk. Did you take offense to that after you heard about it and figured out what Jordan said about how, you know, he would attack the knee if he was a competitor against you? Because that's something that bothered you, or as a competitor, I think that if someone has a weakness, you attack it, right? But did that offend you? Did it make you angry? What was your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I'm always emotionless. I mean, like I said, this is a ruthless game. So I mean, I would be expected for him to come after my knee, or anybody come after my knee. So I mean, that's expected. I didn't take any personal offense to it. But at the same time, if I was Mitchell Mesenbrink and he jammed my face in the mat, I would have spit in his face. So you're not gonna jam my face in the mat. So I kind of wish Mitch would have done something. But I think it was cool, like his response that he kind of gave him, like, hey, like, let's wrestle. So I mean, obviously he's done a lot for the sport, but for me, like, it doesn't really mean much. I mean, I kind of have that side where it's just like, I don't care about nothing, you know what I mean? I don't care who you are, what you stand for, what you say. So I mean, what he said, again, like, I just think, I don't know. I mean, maybe he should go after my knee. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, there's no personal offense. I just think he walks around thinking that he's King Kong and he's not. So
What would you do?
what would I do about what?
What if someone had a knee brace on and you saw it and you knew they had an injury? What would you do in that situation?
I mean, obviously, it's the main thing is always to wrestle to win and score points. And I think, I mean, it's like if you're wrestling a girl, like, are you going to go as hard? I mean, you got to go hard. So it's just like, I think you wrestle to score points and dominate. And so, me personally, I mean, I don't think I have any strategies to hurt anybody, but just to score points and dominate. So I mean, I don't think I would. I mean, I don't know. It's just in the moment thing. I mean, I don't think I would personally attack someone and try and hurt them. But yeah, I mean, it's just a situational thing, I guess. I didn't like hear too much of what they were saying, but I think just after what he did to Mitch and stuff like that, I mean, and then he also wrestled Nolf, who's also a Penn State guy, so obviously they're not gonna cheer for him and love him. And like, again, I know he won the Olympics and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, that's not your home crowd. Like, you're not welcome over here. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care who you are. Like, you're the enemy, and so you're here to be taken out. We don't care about your career, your accolades. Like, you're in enemy lines. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, I didn't want him to win, so I obviously wanted Mitch and Nolf to beat him. And if he would have won those matches, I would have won Dake to beat him. You know what I mean? So, and he probably didn't take his shoes off on the mat because he probably wants to go 79 kilograms for the world championship. So I'll see him there.
You mentioned that you would have spit in his face if you had been in Mitchell's position. What's your kind of breakdown of just that whole end of match situation, just from a wrestler's perspective watching?
Like me watching?
Yeah, just your kind of take on what happened there and why.
I just thought it was just sneaky. Like, he kind of like walked behind him, and like Mitch was like, his head was down, and he just like jammed his face. Like, if we're gonna be tough guy, like it's be tough guy and have like a fair battle. You know what I mean? And I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's I get the competitive nature. I just think that was a little unnecessary and stuff like that. And he knows a guy like Mitch isn't gonna retaliate. You know. Mitch isn't that kind of guy, and so, but I'd like to see him do something like that to like me or Brooks or someone like that, or even Bo, and see how tough he is then. You know what I mean? I think it's a whole different story. So I think he knew he was wrestling Mitch. He's not going to retaliate. So now he wants to be a tough guy, but when the tough guy's around, he's not very tough.
Hey, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you to wrestle here at the Olympic trials?
It doesn't really mean much. I mean, I want to be in Paris. I mean, that's what's important, and I want to be on top of the podium. I think participating is not that cool. I mean, I think winning is where it's at. So, yeah. Other than that, I don't think just being here is cool. I mean, having it in State College is nice, but again, it's all about winning.
Good luck with the rest of your
Thank you.
Carter, leading up to NCAA, how much or how little were you able to do? Were you practicing at all? Because I talked to your dad, and he said there was so much going on behind the scenes that obviously we didn't know, but
Yeah.
he was worried about you even just getting rest. Like, what was some of that process like? Because I think fans are so curious to know how in the world you did that.
Yeah, it was a long process. I mean, it was definitely rough. It was one of those processes, I guess, just like I'm always excited. Like, I love wrestling. Like, I'll wrestle any day, all day long. It was one of those situations where I was kind of looking forward for the season to be over with. You know what I mean? It was very short timing and things like that. I mean, I didn't do any wrestling. Like, my first wrestling was my first match in NCAAs. And obviously, I mean, I was ready to go. I stayed in shape and things like that. And I mean, I know, like, I could sit on the couch for years and I would still come off and still dominate. So I just think my level of IQ and my skills are just always there. But obviously, you always want to be healthy. So I just got to make sure that I'm taking notes and when I'm moving forward, I'm healthy.
Mentally, how do you do that? Because I think a lot of guys see that and they say, okay, like, your dad was telling me he was sending you stuff about, like, you kind of have to retrain your brain. in ways that, things that might normally feel natural now, it's like I shouldn't do that or I shouldn't go that way?
I think you gotta just tune things out. Like I think David, it was Taylor had an interview, and he had a really good point. He was like, as you get further on in your career, your circle gets smaller. You know what I mean? I just think that's like the most important thing, because like you have a bunch of people that can like this, and this, but at the end of the day, only few have walked the road, and only few have your best interests. And so I just think as you keep making your circle smaller and smaller, and just it's tuning everybody out. I mean, everyone's sending you messages, everyone's calling, everyone wants you to do a camp, every kid wants you to sign this. But I just think as you tune in, like, and work on your inner self, I think that's kind of where it's at. Just all that self-talk, all that self-belief, and just listen to your coaches. And I just think understanding that you'll do the best you do no matter what.
Carter, if you return, would you pursue a second bachelor's, or would you enroll in a master's?
I would probably enroll in a master's. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if I come back, it's not going to be for school. It's going to be for wrestling. It's not going to be anything to do with school.
Yeah. You made that clear.
Yeah.
So you have made that clear with us. How do you try to even navigate that? Because, I mean, that's a long time, theoretically, to be in school. It's not something you're crazy about.
I'm not going to let something like school or I'm not going to let anything that's come in the way of what I want. If what I want is to come back and wrestle and win a 5th national title and have our team win our national title, that's because I want to do it. It's not because of NIL. It's not because of this. It's not because of that. It's because I want to do it. You know what I mean?
You've talked about the potentially going into MMA at some point in the past. Your ability to, what you were mentioning earlier with you and Pat, and just being able to hype up bouts and things like that, how much do you think that could help you if you decide to go that route? Because obviously that's a big aspect of UFC and MMA. So
yeah, I think the MMA is trending that direction. I mean, I think it's more exciting. I think it gets the fans involved, but I think more importantly, it just gets people to understand what's going on, I guess. I don't necessarily think it has to be trash talking. I just think it just gets people outside of the community to understand, like, what's going on, what's at stake, understand the scenarios, because I feel like a lot of the times, like, it'd be hard to watch any sport if you have no relation to what's going on. And at the end of the day, I'm always going to be me, and I'm always going to tell it how it is. I'm not going to hide things or hide my feelings or emotions. I'm going to tell how I feel and how I think, and wherever that goes, that's where it goes.
You mentioned telling it how it is. Where do you think that kind of comes from? What do you kind of attribute that to? Just that trait that you have?
I just think just being born, just being Carter Starocci. I just think I'm me. I don't look to be anybody else. I just think that's just who I am. You know what I mean?
Obviously, Aaron's your guy, but David's in the room all the time.
Yeah.
How do you handle what's going to happen here shortly?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets weird in the room at certain times, but I think our coaches do a really good job at navigating that, and I feel like guys are like very mature in the room too, where like all the egos are kind of set aside. And obviously I was in the mix too, so I mean, Aaron he was the only guy that I got a hold of, and I was like, hey, like, here's the situation, I'm going up, I just want to talk to you and get his thoughts, because I mean, I respect Aaron a lot, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers of like all the time. I mean, I watch his matches all the time, like as a fan and like as his buddy, you know what I mean? And just so, I mean, yeah, I mean, those dudes are going to make it happen, and I feel like whoever wins, I'm going to be excited for. And David, I mean, I learn from him all the time, and he's like a great leader to have in the room. Like, he's always sharp, and he's always helping and things like that. So I think whoever wins is going to be great for our team and for the sport, and I think whoever wins is going to win the Olympic title. And they're both my teammates, so it's a win-win-win for everybody.
How do the coaches navigate those NLWC versus NLWC matchups? Is going up to Nick Lee and be like, hey, this is what you need to do against Zane, and then he's going to Zane?
I think normally they wouldn't do that, but I think like in a competition for that's as meaningful as this, with like the Olympics, and like this is people's careers on the line, I think I'm about to go watch this match, but I think the athletes pick their coaches who they want to watch, and then whoever their coach is, they kind of help that athlete. Then it's kind of weird too, because like I remember when I wrestled Nolf, the coaches were helping Nolf out, and I'm like, it kind of makes you feel a certain way. But at the end of the day, it's not like that, and it's a better man wins.
Thanks, Carter.